Hello, and welcome to a bonus episode of Dark and Stormy Book Club. We have an interview with Harry Carpenter, who is the coordinator for this year's Fright Reads Book Convention coming up this next weekend in Severna Park, Maryland. Enjoy. I'm Ann Dart.
I'm Tracy Stormy.
And I'm Kathy Knight.
And together we are
It Was a Dark and Stormy Book Club,
a podcast for mystery lovers.
Welcome.
If you enjoy our show, please consider contributing to the Dark and Stormy Patreon. By becoming a patron, you will help us create better and quality content. There are also benefits to becoming a patron, such as exclusive content and Dark and Stormy merchandise. Become a supporter at patreon.com/darkandstormybc. Check our website for the link. We appreciate any and all contributions. Thank you.
We would like to welcome Harry Carpenter from Fright Reads to our program, and he is going to tell us about an exciting event coming up. Welcome, Harry.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Very well, thank you.
Well, Harry, we are very much looking forward to attending Fright Reads. Can you let our listeners know all about it?
Sure, and I'm looking forward to having you guys there. I'm trying to create an event that there's nothing like it. This is a very book-centric event. There are Halloween festivals, there are horror festivals out there. I think one's happening this weekend, where you get to meet and greet horror movie stars and things like that. But there's nothing really out there geared towards, at least in this region, towards the horror author. As a horror author myself, I wanted to make something fun for that. So ended up talking to a couple of friends that are also authors that do suspense, mystery, and thriller. And we all kind of agreed, yeah, this would be kind of a cool idea. And then I just kind of ran with it. So what it has evolved into now, what you can expect when you get there for the first year, is an event full of probably about a dozen or so authors, ranging from thrillers, mysteries, serial killers, ghost stories of all ages. I actually have an author that does children's books, and I have people that do grown-up books that feel like they're more advanced beyond me. So I have a full spread of different authors. And in addition to that, I have a bunch of small independent businesses that make their own crafts. They make their own candles, jewelry, home decor. In addition to a bunch of really neat stuff, I actually have some ghost hunters. There's going to be some tarot card reading. There's a video game tent that you can pay for a daily admission, like an all-day pass, and they have horror games like Five Nights at Freddy's and Friday the 13th and whatnot playing. So it should be something for everybody at this event, absolutely.
That sounds really good. I can't wait.
I know of quite a few people that will want to attend this.
Yes. Do you have a list of some of the authors you have attending?
I sure do. In terms of the authors that are going to be there, as I mentioned myself, I'll be there. I also have a bunch of very local authors. There's Brad W. Cox. He's actually, I say, a man of many talents. He's been in bands since the 90s. He's done it all. But he wrote a book called Children of the Program, which is a really interesting dystopian thriller. As I mentioned, the other authors that I was discussing with, Tim Baldwin, he does a young adult mystery. There's another gentleman, Neil Cohen. He actually wrote a really neat zombie apocalypse book based out of Jersey, as well as like a business management guide in a zombie apocalypse. So instead of the usual self-help book, it's a self-help, how to be a better boss and how to deal with the workplace while in a zombie apocalypse. So how The Walking Dead basically translates to The Office. I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's a couple of people. There's an author named Maynard who does a middle schooler who has a magical calendar. He can pretty much Groundhog Day any day that he wants. If he just points at the day on the calendar, he can relive it. So I jokingly said, I want that power, right? That's an awesome ability. If you could just pick the day. Poor Bill Murray, he didn't get the choice.
Right.
But the main attraction that I have, what's really interesting is it's our first year, and we actually have New York Times bestseller Richard Chizmar on board, who is been very great with this whole thing. We're doing even an exclusive with him where you can pre-order the books through Caprico's Books, and you can have it signed and available for pickup at our event as a very exclusive thing. Granted, you can get them, signed and shipped wherever in the whole world, but this is one of the options for delivery to pick it up physically at our event. So we're pretty excited to have Richard on board with his Chasing the Boogeyman book, which just came out, I think, last week. I'm actually picking my copy up at my own event, so I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that because I tell everybody that, and they go, who? And I said, well, for one, which is really neat, he's local, and for two, he's like best buddies with Stephen King. He's done the Gwendy's button box and Gwendy's feather hat and whatever other Gwendy article of clothing that they were going to write together, because it's a trilogy, among other things. So that's pretty neat to be, it's like that Degrees of Kevin Bacon. He's 1 degree off from Stephen King.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
It's pretty cool that we have him.
Harry, I have something to admit. We are Stephen King stalkers.
Yeah.
We have been to his house in Maine.
Oh,
I slept in front of a Walmart in Dundalk to meet him. So anything to do with Stephen King, we're there.
well, then you'll be right at home at Richard's table then. That's pretty close.
That's pretty neat. That really sounds like an exciting, and we know Liz from Caprico Books very well. In fact, she's the one who told us about you and your event.
Will she be at the event?
Actually, since she's bringing the big man to the event, she has her table set up right next to him to take care of the signed books.
Oh,
So she should be
boy.
posted up right next to him.
Oh, good,
Oh.
good.
Is she bringing her trolley?
I don't think it's ready yet.
Or is
I
it?
don't know that she's going to have the wagon yet, but honestly, if that's what she wants to do for next year's event, she can park right out front if that's what she wants to do. But I'm excited to see that at any kind of festival that happens to pop up around the state. She can just pull up and have a bookstore.
That's such a neat idea.
So, Harry, here's the important question. If people want to, first of all, become a author at your event or have a table, is there a way to still do that?
There may be a second event that I run sometime early next year or next October when we do Fright Reads number 2. I'd already have your contact info and I can send that an email and you get kind of first grabs.
I can definitely see this event growing.
I might already have to do a 2-day. I'm looking at it already and I'm saying, oh, this might be a Saturday, Sunday deal.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Where do people find out about admission?
Here's what's fun about the current year and we're still doing this stuff. 2020 was atrocious and nobody could do anything. So we decided that we can do it for free this year.
That's the best price.
That's the kicker for 2021. Now, future events, there may be an admission fee. It'd be very small, but we decided that with all the small businesses struggling and all the authors unable to do events, take the $5 or $10 that would have been for admission and go buy a book or buy a hat or a necklace or whatever these people are selling. Go put it towards those guys. But yeah, the tickets are free. We do have an Eventbrite page that's found either on the website or Facebook to order a ticket. But once you get into the process, you'll see that the ticket cost is $0. It's mainly for a metric at this point, just doing us a favor so that way we can see if there's click traffic, if we need to do anything different, just seeing if it all works.
Right.
Are you looking for advertisers?
Anybody that wants to sponsor, I'm always for it. Right now we're working with several, like Third Eye Comics, and of course like Caprico's has been sharing it, as well as some of the bookstores in the area. But any local business that wants to get involved, they can definitely shoot an email out. They can just go to the website at frightreads.com or shoot an email out to info@frightreads.com. And we can go from there in some capacity. We can always use sponsorship, even if the thing that we do is as simple as just a bag stuffer or have your logo up and plastered all over the place, or depending on what we end up doing.
My last question, I don't know if Anne has any others, but the address, where will this be?
So
And
that
the
is
date.
actually,
And the date, that would help.
well, the date's very easy because it is the first Saturday in October. So that is actually going to be October 2nd. That'll be the first Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m. So your afternoon's booked up here. We'll be actually at the community center in Severna Park, and that's right off of Baltimore Annapolis Boulevard. Pretty much any Google machine can look up the Severna Park Community Center. So that would be at 623 Baltimore Annapolis Boulevard out in Severna Park.
And for our listeners across the world and country, that's in Maryland.
That is in Maryland. So if you put it up in your GPS and you're coming from California, give yourself a couple of days. It's going to be a little bit of a drive. There might be some traffic. We do have
especially when you get to Maryland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, forget that. Yeah, we do actually have some people that are coming in, I think all the way from, I think the farthest reach we have is New York. I've had some ticket sales. People have said that they're coming in from New York. What's the situation for driving? And I'm like, I don't know. Drive south. I don't know what you're telling me. What do you mean? What's the situation? I don't know. Find a hotel. We're not. This is the first year we haven't partnered with a local hotel or any of that stuff. So this is a very lightweight, local first-year event that became not so lightweight and local before it even started. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to learn from on the first year that we're going to probably adapt and add into on the second year to make sure that it is as big and good as it can be.
Well, I'm excited. I am really looking forward to it, especially since we haven't had any events that we could attend for the last almost year and a half. So we are really looking forward to just getting out and seeing people.
And also, this is right up our alley because we are big components in giving a leg up to authors who are just getting started. So we want to do everything we can to help them.
Absolutely. And that was one of my points, too, that this needed to be made because as an author myself, I have tried to do events. And with the type of material I write, because I write serial killers and horror, sometimes I'm not going to use the word not welcome, but I get the weird stares and everybody passes by me because I don't quite fit. So this is an event that's very Halloween, very fall, horror-centric. I am going to blend right in because the guy next to me has just as weird of a book as I do. And this is a destination spot. So I wanted to give people a platform that have been, maybe they've been trying to get started. Maybe they did the self-publishing thing and they don't know quite the first steps. I barreled head first through the first steps. So I've done all the legwork to do all the screw-ups for everybody else. Hopefully this is a good way, not only to get the local authors in the area mingling, they can exchange information, but they can also talk to 3 bookstores that are local that will be set up. So it's a very easy format to say, hey, my table is over here. Would you be interested in my books for your store? Can we set up a day or a time or however their process goes? Not only is it good to get your stuff in front of fans, but this is a good kind of intermingling meet and greet type of deal.
Yeah, well, that's where Dark and Stormy come in because we have always, since we've been in existence now for 3 years, we focus on up-and-coming authors and get their name and their books out there. We will be looking for subjects for our program as we come.
Sure.
And yours sounds like a really good option. Can you tell us a little bit about your series? It sounds really good.
So I have a couple of different books. So I have a sci-fi series, which is like a sci-fi military called FUBAR. That's going to be a 4-book series. But most recently, the one that I just released it's called Spooky Tales and Scary Things. It is much like the first one, which was a series of true stories that happened to me, where I kind of tell you a fictionalized version of it and I jazz it up and have a good old time. But the second half of that story is me telling you what really happened. And the most interesting thing is sometimes the truth doesn't deviate too much from what I told you fictionally. The first book involved a couple of demonic situations. The second book is more ghostly. But my favorite, I call it my pride and joy, my bread and butter, is the third story in the series was given to me by my grandparents. And this is one that they would tell me over and over again among so many others. And it involved Severna Park, coincidentally. Like up the road from where the event will be was my grandmother's childhood home. So she would tell me all of these situations with this dark, shadowy figure that would always be haunting the house. And it did that up until the day that they moved out. So some of the scenarios that she gave me, I kind of jazzed up a little bit, but I didn't have to deviate too far at all. There was only so much I had to do to kind of twist it to make it work. So I get to tell these stories that were very real, but I get to add that little bit of a horror zing